Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and today some interesting news dropped in regards to the Rise of Skywalker. No, it's not about any of the controversies behind the scenes. It's not about any of the leaks or any of the reported test screenings that are at this point pretty provably false. What it's about is the very first screenings of the movie. This was going out today. You and a guest are invited to a screening of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. And of course, they are doing multiple screenings on the 17th for all the press in Los Angeles. And people out there are really, really excited for this. You've already seen a few people talking about it on Twitter, and a lot of people who live in the area, the access media, are very excited. But what was fascinating was what was also associated with the invite. And this was sent to me by one of my contacts who provided the information about the review embargoes. Now, this is what we know. The review embargo is at 12:01 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 18th, and the social media embargo lifts at 10 p.m. on the 16th, right? Or 1 a.m. on the 17th if you're on the East Coast. Now, what that means is essentially that if you went to the premiere on the 16th, which is a Monday, you then get to talk about it that night. So we're going to see a lot of reactions coming out of Hollywood on the 16th at 10 p.m. after the movie, after they go and see the screening, which makes sense because I think it's going to start probably around 7 o'clock. It should end around 10 p.m. People are going to come out and they're going to be talking about it. But of course, the reviews don't break until 12:01 a.m. on the 18th, and that's after the press screening day. So all the press who gets to go and see it, all the people that get to go and check this thing out at the 3 different screenings are going to be able to come home and get their reviews done and everything else. But why this is fascinating, to me is because review embargoes always tell a story, right? Review embargoes always end up telling you about the quality of the product. In video games, if a review embargo doesn't come out until the game drops that day, generally speaking, there's something wrong with the game. Movies are very similar. If a review embargo doesn't lift until the day before or the day of, and in some cases, even after the movie has come out, that is definitely a cause for concern. So when you see that the review embargo for this is at 12:01 a.m. on the 18th and the movie comes out on the 19th, at least here in the States, it'll be opening, I think, a day early overseas. They want to have the reviews kept right up to the line. They want to do this. And I want to talk about why that's interesting. And a lot of that has to do with, quite frankly, the way that they've done it in the past. So here's what's interesting, right? Come back over here to December 11th, 2015. Just a few days before the release of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And it talks about the review embargo being set by Disney and Lucasfilm. All right, so what we found out here is that Disney and Lucasfilm have announced that the official review embargo for Star Wars: The Force Awakens will be 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday, December 16th. So again, just right before the release of the movie, because it came out on Thursday, the 17th, for all the preview screenings, and so they did the exact same thing there. And The Force Awakens was very well received, made over $2 billion, and a lot of people really, really, really liked it. And The Last Jedi was very similar in its review embargo, because it says here that Star Wars: When Will The Last Jedi's review embargo lift? And coming down here, we see that the review embargo for Star Wars: The Last Jedi lifts at December 12th at 12 p.m. EST. Now, that is midday on the East Coast, early morning on the West Coast, which was kind of interesting. And this was also midweek, very similar to The Rise of Skywalker. But when it came to the social media embargo, it wasn't the day before. It was actually a few days before. We see here that Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, first social media reviews posted. Rian Johnson's movie heralded as best since Empire. And this was on Sunday the 10th, meaning that people were dropping this stuff the night before. So on Saturday, the 9th of December, 2017, a couple days before the reviews themselves went out. Remember, when we're looking at the thing here, what we're seeing is that the social media embargo lifts just 2 hours, a day and 2 hours before, right? So the social media is a whole day early, but the reviews are coming very quickly after that. And that may or may not speak volumes to you. It does to me, actually, because when you look at Solo here, right? We see Solo. They really wanted to push Solo. I think they knew with Force Awakens they had a good success rate thing going on. After it made all that money, they were very confident about The Last Jedi, so they wanted to hold off for spoilers until right then. But when it came to Solo, they actually did it a lot early. It says, despite tumultuous production, Lucasfilm appears confident in its latest edition of the Star Wars franchise. Solo, a Star Wars story, so confident, in fact, that the studio is lifting review embargo for the film a full 10 days before the theatrical release. According to Latina Review Media, the review embargo for Solo will be lifted at 2 p.m. on May 15th, which is the same day the film premieres at Cannes. This, of course, should come as a sign of relief for those worried about the impact Solo's troubled production might have on the final product, as studios typically tend to keep embargoes in place for longer for films they expect to do poorly among critics. And that is very fascinating when you think about the whole thing as a whole, right? When you look at how they approached Force Awakens and The Last Jedi by having the review embargo right before, they were, holding off for spoilers. But with Solo, I think they knew that there might have been something wrong, and so they wanted to get the positive word out quick. In regards to that, it just seems to make the most amount of sense to me. I think they're really trying to make sure that people get the hype. The hype is maximum, right? And this is not, out of the question, right? So looking over here at Jedi Fallen Order, which just dropped the other day, and the reviews on that were embargoed as well. And people were here speculating whether or not it's going to be good or bad. See, Star Wars Jedi Order Fallen review embargo. Terrible news for fans ahead of the release date, right? Because when you think about gaming, you don't want there to be reviews that are held. But the thing is they did this because of spoilers. It says here the single player set Star Wars action game has a November 15th release date. And EA says here in a post on their page, the company explains that the decision was taken in order to avoid spoiler situation. We've opted to not have early access for this title, in part to reduce the risk of story spoilers. So yeah, you can see that there is a big push here to keep spoilers from coming out. But it also, in my mind, shows you that Disney has a lot of confidence in this product. Because with Solo, you could tell they were uneasy coming off the backlash of The Last Jedi. And they were tracking, they were worried about the tracking numbers. They were worried about the opening box office. So they dropped the movie reviews 10 days early to build hype. And not only that, but they announced like the Boba Fett movie the day before. They were trying to pad everything in order to hype up fans to get them to the theater on Memorial Day weekend. And it just didn't work. In regards to this, though, it feels like they are very confident with what they have. And this is actually a sign of confidence, in my opinion. This is not the opposite. This is not them scrambling to try to protect people from seeing this movie in order to, to keep people from talking about it, in order to keep people uninformed. So they just go see it out of blind loyalty instead of knowing the dark truth about the movie. You are going to hear people make that claim. But if you look at the success, financially speaking, at least of The Force Awakens, and yeah, The Last Jedi, which could have probably done better if it was a better movie, they were confident enough in the product. Solo, not so much. Now, with this, they're confident in the product again. So hopefully, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker will be a massively successful film in both box office in terms of solidifying the end of the Skywalker saga and giving fans a reason to be happy again. But in the meantime, you can look for the review embargo to lift at 12:01 a.m. PST, which, believe me, I will be breaking that down when that happens. And the social media embargo, I will also be breaking that down to see what people are saying firsthand. And those are going to be some fun streams, because we are going to be streaming those live here on the channel. And look, at the end of the day, I just want Star Wars to be good. I want Star Wars to be great. I think The Rise of Skywalker looks like a lot of fun. My hype for it is growing. And I am looking at this information as being, well, actually a sign of confidence, which then alleviates some of the fear that I have. And I hope that this has informed you a little bit, but I do want to hear your thoughts. I do want to hear your opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. This, again, is going to be a very crazy month for all the news and information coming out for Star Wars, but I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. If you made it this far, type Skywalker in the chat so I know, and hit that like, hit that notification, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Have yourself a great day, guys, and peace out. This video is supported by patrons like you. If you'd like to become a patron, please head over to patreon.com/Matt Jarbo.